City of Demons contains potentially triggering content including death, harsh language, transphobia, violence, and weapons. Please listen with discretion. Gwen! How did it go?
It went about as well as I expected. Mom cried, Dad didn't look at me the whole time, and when I finished talking, he told me to get my things and go. Happy fucking holidays.
I'm so sorry. I really hoped they were going to, I don't know, be okay with it or something.
It's all right. Really, I already accepted this was going to happen. I mean, I'm just glad it's done, so I can get on with my life. I'll head back to LA, this time for good. And I don't need to take that extra baggage with me.
Fly away back to Neverland, Gwendy. It's a hell of a lot better than here. I'm really gonna miss you.
I'll miss you too, Katie. But hey, I'm only an instant message away. I can't thank you enough for being here for me. It's really hard being back here.
I could reach out to the gang. I'm sure Brett and Eric at least are back in town with their folks.
No, I can't. I'm sorry, it's better for me to slip away without knowing how they'd react. Like, I don't want to get my hopes up and lose someone else.
Sorry, yeah. Well, how about bad movies and a pizza? I picked up Vampirella and Lawnmower Man 2 from Blockbuster.
Thanks. Thank you. But look, I'm beat. I don't want to duck out on you, but I need to get an early start.
Oh, it's cool. I totally get it. And I'll be here if you need me, Gwen.
Thanks. I love you, Katie.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
It's funny. Saying that to a friend would have been so impossible before. But now...
I love who you are, Gwen. I love who you're becoming. It's really special to see, and I'm really grateful that you trust me.
Oh, Katie. Thank you. Good night.
Sleep tight. Don't let the vampires bite.
8 hours of sleep and then I hit the road.
You walk through a door, and you're in a familiar place. You know at this point that this is a dream. Except this time, the game show set that you're on is dark. There's no audience. There's no host. There's no active set full of rushing water and sweeping vines. Instead, there's just a single overhead light on. And sitting on the floor is a young boy, surrounded by the broken pieces of the jewel-encrusted egg that you've hunted for so many times here before.
I very cautiously move towards him.
As you move towards him, still looking down, he says, "This is the last time I'm ever going to see you, isn't it?"
Well, gosh, maybe. I don't know. Should I know who you are?
You don't recognize me? I'm you. I'm you from before.
Oh, kid. Look, you are... I mean, you grow up. And you're not the same. You don't go anywhere. You're me. And you're better now.
He kind of looks up at you and says, "But what's going to happen to me?"
Well, Gwen's face gets dark. If you think you're different from me, if you don't see me and think, there she is, the aspiration of everything that I'd hoped to become, then you must be all of the pain, all of the illusion that everybody projected onto me, or us. And I'm sorry, kid, but I guess I'm not gonna see you again because you don't exist.
He kind of stands up and starts to walk towards you. And he opens his arms as if he wants to give you a hug.
And I kneel down and I hug him and I say, thank you for trying to protect me. I'm really, really grateful. Because they would have hurt me much worse if it weren't for you.
Do you hate me?
No, kid. I don't hate you. If we could have just been us from the start, then you wouldn't have had to crystallize over me. It's not you. You did what you were supposed to do. And you kept me safe.
He finishes giving you the hug and then kind of lets go. He turns back around and he walks back to the broken egg on the ground and sits back down.
It's gonna be alright, though, because you've done what you needed to do. And now I'm gonna do what I need to do. And I'm gonna keep growing. And I turn and I walk away.
As you turn to leave and exit out the way that you came, you briefly turn and look back, and you see that the boy is gone, and all that remains is the shattered egg among the empty chairs and darkened ruins of a game that you've played for the last time.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
We're users, Flo. We're not here to hurt you. We're here to fix things.
She throws her disc, strikes the column of light above you, and all of a sudden your identity disc crashes to the ground next to you.
Who are you? What are you doing here? Why were you talking to the MCP?
I don't know what you think you know, but we were brought there by force. We didn't ask to go.
It's all cool, Flo. We're okay. What? Why are you here?
She starts running towards you at an unnaturally fast pace.
Shit.
She jump kicks Gwen and knocks her back 20 feet.
Jesus Christ.
Then she immediately jumps onto Brett's chest and drives her disc into the ground next to his head.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
My name is Brett. I'm a user, and clearly you're the bad guy if you're trying to kill me and Gwen. Or we could work together and fix whatever you think needs to be fixed.
I'm stumbling on my feet. I see that Flo has Brett pinned down, shouting and threatening him, and Eric said the virus was a courier program, and I don't think Brett realizes how serious this is yet, so instinctually, practically without thinking, I grab my identity disc and I'm running it, ready to slash at the back of her head.
Like, as you go to, like, strike her, she just kind of, like, reaches up and, like, catches your hand. And, like, she's, like, holding on to you, and she's just looking at you, like, glaring at you while you're holding the disc above her.
Get the fuck off my friend, Flo!
All of a sudden, her hair, the fire goes out of it that was there before, and she, like, lets go of your hand and gets off of your chest, Brett, and just, like, sits down on the ground next to you, and it looks like she's, like, clearly winded, weakened at this point, and she says, "Relax, I'm not gonna hurt you."
Could have fooled me. I almost shit myself.
Look, we just heard that a courier program is infected with a virus, and you were just behaving very virusy, so... How do I know you're not just some Trojan playing, possum right now?
I'm sorry about that. I had to make sure that you were who you said you were.
Well, who did you think we were, Flo?
A bit after I was placed here, the MCP created this grid and pulled you into it. And I had to figure out why.
I looked to Brett, like... Wait, created the grid? Aren't we in the grid? Wait, this is all new? But what about the wasteland where we met with all the programs?
Right, so... This is probably going to take some time to explain. Where do I begin? I'm a program. I was created by my user Alan 1 with the explicit purpose of taking down the MCP. You may not realize this, but the MCP is one of the greatest threats that your world has ever faced.
An antivirus program? How, that doesn't
What
make
I can
sense.
tell you for certain is that the MCP is lying to you. Whatever it's told you about me, it is manipulating you. It's trying to use you for some purpose, and I'm trying to figure out what that is.
Well, we know that it was asking us to kill whatever it called a virus, and it was trying to offer us a path to get out once that task was accomplished.
Yeah, this whole space.
Yeah, they pointed us in this direction.
It's been torn apart. Did you do that, Flo?
Yeah.
Okay. I take my disc and I put it back in the IO gate, and I'm like, Eric, are you there?
So, again, the responses are still somewhat delayed. It's like taking a couple minutes for, anything to get back. But Eric eventually answers and is like, what happened? The connection suddenly just terminated.
Well, you said there was a courier program that had a virus, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's how it's going to present itself to you.
Well, the courier program is telling us it's not a virus, and that the malware control program is the threat. Do you know what you uploaded?
Actually, I am a virus.
Okay. Eric, get us the fuck out of here. We can't be here.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
I don't know how to begin to do that. The MCP's not going to let you go. That's what I keep trying to tell you. Did you ever think to yourself and question why, if the MCP brought you here to hunt me down, it would drop you in the middle of an inference region where there was a derez gate about to sweep the area?
I don't know half of what you just said. All I know is we've been fucked over since we landed, and everyone's telling us that the other person is lying, and you didn't kill us. That makes you seem more trustworthy in my book. MCP didn't seem too cool, so I'm willing to believe you. I don't understand why we can be uploaded and dropped in the middle of nowhere, and we just can't find a back door and just get out of here. Did the MCP let us come in? They intentionally did it let us come in?
After this grid was turned on, I was monitoring the incoming and outgoing transmissions of the system. I saw that two entities were coming in from the outside. Because of my interactions with Alan 1 and what he has told me about the world, I recognized it for what it was. I was the one who redirected your landing spot into the inference region specifically so I could go pick you up and try to find out why you were being brought here by the MCP.
Okay, so you basically just scooped us up before the MCP could to figure out what does the MCP want with us to begin with in general.
Well, I wanted to see who you were and what you were doing here, and it seemed pretty obvious that you had no idea what you were doing here.
We still don't know.
Eric, what was the name of the file that you uploaded?
Once you landed here, it seemed like you didn't know why you were here or what you were doing here. So I let you go for a bit. I wanted to watch you and see what you did. And the first thing that I noticed is you hightailed it directly for the MCP, and you had a conversation with him.
We were abducted.
You weren't watching us that close. We were jamming out in the street. We were just minding our own business, and then these guards show up and they force us onto the flying thing. And then next thing I know, we're talking to the evil Wizard of Oz, and he's making us do something or upon pain of death.
The subtleties of how users interact in the world, or maybe it's a little bit lost on me, but I saw them come and take you. You put up no resistance at all. You just immediately went with them, and you went and had a conversation with the MCP, and all of a sudden you come out and you have new identity discs. You're riding around with Crypto and his Light Runner, and
we told you we don't know anything. How are we supposed to know who's good and who's bad? Like, if these people show up with weapons and say, come with us, and we have fake identity discs, what the hell are we supposed to do?
I believe you now. I just had to make sure. You could have been operatives of the MCP.
Well, Flo, I mean, we don't have reason to believe literally anyone. We were operatives of the MCP because the MCP threatened us and told us what we had to do. And all we can tell is that we're in some kind of crazy game and we don't know what's right or what's wrong. But someone gave us a quest and we thought, well, the only thing we can do is to do what we've been asked to do, because otherwise we have no idea what we're doing.
What's a quest?
It's
like when we were taken to be executed is what we were told, right? So when someone gives you a quest, it's like when
your purpose.
Yeah, it's a purpose given to a program that program executes. So we thought, because we step into this place and we don't have any purpose, that when something gives us a purpose, that's probably the only way for us to get out of here. Does that make sense?
It does, if the MCP wasn't such a manipulative entity. Look, it doesn't make any sense why he would have brought you here to hunt me. There has to be some other motive for doing it, and until we figure out what that is, I think it's probably best if you come with me.
Oh, now it's we, Brett. It's we. We're gonna go with this mystery lady who just tried to kill us.
She didn't, though. We made sense, and she did help us before. Could have left us to die in the energy field, so, whatever. That's all water under the bridge.
Look, I'm sorry that I had to do that. I didn't want to subject you to that. I've had a lot of conversations like this with Alan 1, and I don't believe that you're bad users. I want to help you. I'm sympathetic to your plight. I had to make sure that you weren't a threat.
Yeah, and as far as I can tell, Flo may have been sketchy at first, but the MCP definitely bad from everything, from every aesthetic and from every situation, and from the way they threatened us and bullied us into doing what they wanted to do. At least Flo is asking.
Sure, I'll give him that.
The name of the program is Flow.tron.
Okay, so, Flo, who is Alan 1?
Well, that's a much bigger question. Alan 1 is an executive at Incom.
I look to Brett and I'm like,
I think you all should probably come back with me to, frankly, a safer place. A couple of users getting caught out here, it just wouldn't be good in this place.
Okay, give us a sec, Flo. Give us a sec. Just a sec.
Eric, Flo is telling us that her programmer or user is Alan 1, and Alan 1 is an executive of some kind for Encom. And if they're the ones who somehow are involved with coercing you into do this, you need to find out what the hell is going on by the next time we make contact. I don't know when that's going to be.
So after a few minutes, you get a response back, and Eric says, yeah, I can do that, but you need to open up the controls on the TCP gate before I can communicate with the outside world.
All right. We'll look into that. Thank you, Eric. We will be in touch.
Does Flo hear that? I mean, do you have to be like within the beam or something to?
No,
to
you're just kind of like talking
Eric.
as if talking into space or whatever, and you're hearing the voice come back.
So she doesn't hear. But she
She
doesn't
does.
hear,
she's like
okay.
overhearing. That's the same way you are. So.
Gotcha. Okay. I just wanted to be clear that she could hear we were having a conversation.
Okay. So you retrieve your disc back, and she actually says, "Look, it would probably be better if we traveled separately. So I am just going to tell you where to come meet me, and then once we meet there, I can explain a lot more about what is happening here."
Sure.
You're gonna need some good directions, Flo. I'm not gonna lie. We don't know how to navigate properly.
She tells you to meet her near a procedural shift station near a vehicle repair shop called Ober's, which stands for the Omnibus Emergency Repair Shop. And as she's like kind of explaining this, you kind of like notice off to the side, there's a group of 3 programs that are strutting in to the area. And one of them says, "Users, huh? I'd heard rumor that there were users out here on the grid. That's true. I bet you're using up a whole lot of memory." And he kind of like pulls out like a baton and turns it on, and it starts glowing and has an orange tip on the end of it, which is different from the one that you have. I think yours had like a blue tip on it. And he kind of looks at it and says, "I bet I could reclaim a lot of bits off of you." You notice down and look, and you see that he's holding the 2 helmets that the guards out in front were wearing when you came in. And he kind of like tosses them onto the ground, and they just like burst and like fall apart into some bits. And he like takes his wand and kind of like, he almost like scoops them up. It's almost like it vacuums into it. Flo just, turns and like looks at him, and she's like, "Looks like we're probably gonna have to fight our way out of this."
All right. Rev-X is gonna try intimidation. You stupid program. You realize we're 2 users? We could have you deleted like that. 1 call to our friend on the outside. You're done, pal. Walk away now if you know what's good for you. 20.
As you're kind of doing this, you're like pointing your finger at him or something like that. And there's kind of like a crackle of energy that kind of begins to like spark from you as you're declaring this intention.
I act like I know what's happening.
And I am surprised and delighted, and mostly surprised what the fuck is happening.
The program begins to take a step back, and he's like, "Oh shit. It's true then.
Go!"
Yeah, we'll eat you alive, sucker!
Sorry. And all 3 of them kind of like looking at each other, like not sure what to do. They turn around to like start to like walk away.
Faster!
And all of a sudden, an identity disc past your head. Like, Flo has all of a sudden her hair is like on fire again, and she like throws it, and the leader in the center just like splits apart and falls into like a whole bunch of bits. And the other 2 like turn around, and they're just like terrified, and they just like take off running. And Flo begins to run after them.
Get him, Flo! No, get him! Get him! We'll be at the Ober's. And I just grabbed Gwen. I'm like, let's get the fuck out of here.
I believe I picked up a light cycle.
Yeah, you both did.
Stick. Yeah, so I get a running start. I throw it out and see if I can actually do it this time.
Yeah, because didn't before you went, like,
Tried to do it, like,
ate it
straight up,
immediately.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you get like a running start this time, and you go to jump onto it, and like you kind of like zoom off. Brett, I don't know if you're gonna do the same thing or not, but
I first watched just to see how she does it, because if she crashes, I don't want to zoom away. And at the same time, so if she dives in the air, does it, rides off, I'm just like, rad. And then I just run and try my best to do the exact same.
Yeah. So she goes and jumps, like rides off. I will say too, like just like before you do that, you look over and you notice that that Flo has dispatched the other 2, and she's like kind of like bent over, and she's like put her like hand into the pile of bits there from the first one that she took out, and you see what looks like this sort of like orange energy that's like going up through her hand and like into her body. And the crackle of energy that was on your finger before, you start to feel there's like some kind of like an attraction there to like the energy that she was, absorbing there. You feel like it's almost like kind of a magnetic like attraction that way.
Like I should go put my hand in it?
Yeah, you feel like there's something like that there.
Okay. Well, I'll ask questions about that later. I don't want to let Gwen get too far away.
My intention wasn't to drive off like full stop, but to like
get going. Yeah.
Yeah. So you do that, and like once the light cycle's out, you can like put your foot down and support yourself up. So it's not like you're either just always going or stopped. That's kind of what I'm getting at. So
right.
Yeah.
It's not a game of Snake. Mm-hmm. It just looks like one kind of sometimes.
Exactly. Okay, so yeah, you do the same thing. You kind of like circle around, and like when Flo does that, you kind of like feel like an attraction like that as well.
What? Hey Flo, I say, leaning back on the bike. What are you doing?
I'm absorbing their power.
Cool.
Is that something we're supposed to do? Also?
I don't know, maybe. Do you want to try it?
I look to Brett.
Fuck it. He'll go over. So, like, he'll step off the light cycle, like, whether it is a kickstand or not, I have no idea. But then just, like, literally just, like, wasting no time just because he's, seems a little more worried that there's other people around. Just goes and he just sticks his hand right, like, as if it's a pile of sand. Just, like, right in there.
There's all kinds of weird things you're putting your hands in.
Right. But it's like, we've come
gross,
so far.
Brett. You're really gross.
We've come so far.
All right.
It ain't real.
You do that, and you realize that the traction is not from the pile of bits on the ground, but it's actually to Flo herself.
Oh. So in other words, I put my hand in there, and it's just like nothing really. Like there's no real reaction from.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh, okay. And then if I go and I like move my hand, just like open palm in her direction to see if my hand feels whatever, I feel like a magnetic kind of pull or whatever. And I say, do you know what that is? Do you feel that?
That's really strange. She kind of like holds her hand out, like to you.
And I pull it back a little bit to see if the feeling disappears or gets stronger.
Yeah, it's like pulling stronger.
But if I pull it away, does it pull harder, like, or fades?
It's like a magnetic
like two magnets.
Yeah. So the further you get away, the
right. So like the closer we get, the more. So I pull back just to see that, and then when I see that doesn't happen, I go fast and just give her a high five, just with the intent of pulling back if possible.
You you do that, and you give her the high five, and there's kind of just like a little spark, but you feel something like when that happens, like something was about to transfer over to you.
Right, and I go, okay. I just put my hand back on it again, and then I'm gonna lock my finger around just to see what happens. And if I'm watching her to make sure she's like she's not like getting killed.
She's kind of like amazed by this too, and that same energy that was going into her, you feel now flowing into you, and you realize now that you have a new function available to you, the memory reclamation function, and you sort of intuitively know how it works. It's not installed yet. You still have to go to a procedural shift station to actually activate it.
To put it on my disk.
But it allows you to reclaim bits from derezzed programs and constructs.
Okay.
So essentially, you can get currency by absorbing them from things that have programs that have been destroyed.
Yeah. And does it also function as like life, or is it just kind of raw material?
It's the currency. It's the bits that you use to exchange for,
Gotcha.
Memory is the currency in this world, and
right.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if it was like the same. Technically, if it was just another form of the goop I drank earlier.
No, the goop you drank earlier is energy.
But Brett doesn't, Brett just sees bits on the ground and is just like, these batteries.
Yeah.
Like,
these look more like when you received the bits initially from Flo, and then she gave it so that you could buy the false identity discs. These look like those
Rubik's Cube pieces.
Whereas like the goop you were drinking was like a liquid.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And I'm just watching this happening, and I'm like, it looks very strange. And I say, Brett, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. What if I feel like the transfer is complete or whatever, then I'll just sort of like let her go.
Yeah, the attraction suddenly breaks once the transfer is complete. She's like, that's really strange. But some things are starting to make a little bit more sense. She kind of like goes back down to the pile, and she kind of like runs her hand around it, and the pile of cubes that's on the ground disappears. I'm sorry, it doesn't disappear. Like, it condenses into a smaller, or a like one solid block, and she puts it kind of away where she puts her money or whatever. And so she got some bits from that. But you notice it was the same function that the batons or the bats that they had before were able to do. So she basically sucked the power from that, and then by interacting with you, two users, you were able to create a construct from it that is this function that you can now install and use again in the future.
I'll straddle the light cycle, and I'm assuming like I'm right next to Gwen, and I'll put my hand out and just be like, put her there.
All right.
Does anything happen?
Yeah, you're able to make a copy of the function.
Oh, shit. Whoa. Brett, what the fuck did you just do to me?
Whatever she did. It's money, right?
Well, not yet, I guess, but
that's how that works, right?
Right. I guess sort of. Anything that we could destroy, we could take that memory and we could do something with it.
Right.
Oh, weird. Okay. Cool. I'm a little like disoriented by the thought of it, because like just of the information of how that works, just kind of being present in my own thoughts and understanding the ramifications of it is very strange. But I grip the light cycle again, and
Obers.
And what's Flo doing?
She is as soon as she kind of like finishes sweeping up, she kind of like pulls out her light cycle, and she kind of like takes one look back at you, like puts her helmet on, and then she goes and jumps onto hers and rides off.
Okay, well then, Obers, I guess. Cool. And away we go.
So you jump onto your light cycles and you're driving along, and you kind of have a basic lay of the land at this point. Flo gave you some slightly more detailed directions on how to get to the place where you're going. So at this point you could go to meet up with Flo again, or you could try to go find the TCP gate if you wanted to reopen that.
When I'm on the light cycle, is it possible for me to talk to Brett?
Yeah, so you can strangely, let's say that your helmets have a comm system inside of them that automatically understands what you're trying to accomplish with it. So,
well, while we're driving along, like attempting to parse together, like either seeing where Flo went, or parsing together where to go for Obers, and then also we we're told by Eric about the TCP gate. I guess I'm going to use my my tech knowledge to attempt to figure out where that might be, and if there is a way to do, two birds with one stone, or where even, like, would a TCP gate be at Obers? Like, I'm not really sure, but I have a feeling that my at least I, the player, am not sure, but my character Gwen may know. And fortunately, this is something that I actually have a lot of stats in.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll it.
I rolled a 30.
You know a thing or two about how, if not like detailed about like how computers work, but like how circuits work, and we'll say like some basic like communication, like network communication stuff. So
sure, my transness began on the internet, so I had to know my way around it.
We'll say your things are starting to come together with you as far as like how the city is laid out, and you see how various functions of how the system operate are contained in different spots. and you're able to kind of use that information to figure out where the TCP gate is. You use that in combination with there are essentially street signs that are up in different places directing you different places to go, and you're able to kind of read the lingo of where you're being directed to, and you eventually see a signs that can lead you towards the TCP gate, or like I said, you can continue on your way back to Rendezvous with Flo.
Well, since I'm seeing signs to the TCP gate, I say to Brett, "Hey Brett, let's take a detour and figure out this TCP gate situation before we get to Ober's."
Yeah, lead the way.
Okay.
And so
All right.
we do.
So you all are just kind of riding along in traffic, and it's very kind of strange and surreal. I don't know if you remember when I described how Crypto was driving along and how he was just kind of weaving in and out of traffic, and things were kind of moving around him. It's very similar to that as well. It's very different from driving in our world. Somehow you just know how to react to avoid collisions with other programs that are riding on vehicles through the streets. You kind of just have this intuitive nature of moving around, and it's you can override that, of course, if you want to, but you're surprised by how accurately you're able to pilot this thing around what is actually a pretty busy street.
It's really fast. It's really satisfying, and I feel like if I stop to really question that, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, you're just kind of it's almost like using the Force. You're just going, you're doing it by feeling, and you're just after a little bit, you kind of get your confidence up, and you're actually probably having some fun with it.
And it's just like shooting womp rats on my T-16 Skyhopper back home.
Perfect analogy. Okay, so you roll up to the TCP gates, and so this appears to be what looks to you a massive, almost like a train station, where packets are loaded and programs to be shipped to other systems. Pretty much everything is highly restricted and shut down. You see that there is a lot of programs that are waiting for things to reopen so that they can, go where they need to go to other systems, in distant places. And so the way that the packets are loaded, it almost looks like shipping containers that are all kind of stacked up and lined up in rows. And there is a very limited amount of communication that's going out, and you kind of observe a program get into one of these container things. They close the door on it. There's a couple of lights that flash, and then they open it back up again, and they're gone. So you can kind of reason that what's happening here is that as these programs are leaving the grid, they're kind of being de-resolved here, being transferred back into the information that exists below the layer of the grid itself, and then going out to other systems. But like I said, everything's highly restricted right now. They're not letting a whole lot of traffic through, and you just see these long lines of programs that are lined up with guards standing between them and the packets. So as you're kind of observing all of this, all of a sudden, Gwen, you feel a tap on your shoulder.
I turn around.
And you see Eric standing behind you.
Whoa, Eric, what the shit? Did they get you too?
The program that you're talking to just kind of turns and looks behind him. Who's Eric?
What's your destination program?
My name's Cad.
Ah.
Are you Gwen X and Revex?
The very same.
Okay. My user Firestarter sent me here to try to find you. I'm supposed to get on one of those.
Do you know what that is, Brett?
One of those?
Well, out there, do you know what that gate is? Do you recognize TCP? Do you know? We haven't talked about this.
No, I thought we were looking for something. I didn't.
That's the internet. That's the doorway to the internet.
Oh. I thought we were going to an upgrade station that'd be a phone booth or something. I didn't know it would be that big thing.
Well, yeah, we
we're kind of out in the open a little, right? What
yeah,
are we supposed to do?
Definitely. I mean, how do we Cad, what, are you just able to stand in line and get through, or is there some kind of problem?
They've got everything like really like blocked off. They're not allowing any packets to go in or out right now, except for, just some very basic things, checking to, pings to let people know that, we're still out there. I think that maybe the NTP system is still allowed to send packets out occasionally. It could be, but it's all pretty much just locked down. He's like kind of holds up and he shows you that he has this little like gold plate that has an IP address written on it, which is 98.136.103.23. He's like, this is where I need to go. This is my ticket, but they're not letting anybody like on or off these things.
Do you know how we could upgrade our identity discs with like a new feature? Like, how are we supposed to, do you know how we're supposed to do that here?
You mean at like a procedural shift station?
Yes, that's what you're thinking of, Brett. We need to get to a procedural shift station.
Man, I don't know. I just know, all I know is I have this knowledge and I got nothing to do with it. I have no idea what it means.
Well, do you know where there's a procedural shift station, Cad?
Yeah, I think there's just one that's right over here. And he kind of like directs you over this way, and there's what looks like a little ATM machine.
That's what I'm talking about. That thing. Okay, so that upgrades, that's the internet.
Right. The doorway to the internet.
All right. It's crazy.
Well, after you, Brett.
All right, so I go I walk up to the thing.
Get a power up.
Yeah. Do I insert my disc or whatever?
Yeah, there's like a little frame that you can put your disc onto. And as soon as you do that, there's a screen that kind of like lights up, and you can select what you want to, like what functions you want to have active at any given time. So you currently have the one that's on there, and
this is the memory. What is it? The memory, like memory.
So this
recall
is memory
function?
reclamation.
All right.
Yeah, that's what this one's called.
Brett, I'm assuming you activate both those things.
Yeah, because we only have two functions at a time or whatever. Is that the idea?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I may as well just do both of those.
Yeah.
And I do the same.
So like the idea is that eventually you'll have a bunch of different functions that you can choose from, almost like selecting a loadout before you go on a mission or something like that.
I'll say, so Cad, when you get to wherever you need to go, what are you supposed to do there?
I'm gonna reopen communications with this system.
Gotcha. Okay, that sounds useful. But it's all locked down.
Yeah. What do those packets look like?
So they look like shipping containers.
Uh-huh.
So if you imagine you're like looking, front on at a shipping container with the door open on it.
Yeah.
Or almost like an elevator. So if there was just like this, big grid of elevator doors that were like open, and it's like you step into one and then it closes and then it opens back up and then they're gone.
Do I see where they're coming from, these containers?
Well, they're all
containers,
just like
they're
built
static.
into the wall. Yeah, they're static.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
It's like they're all like microwave ovens. You just
it's
walk
almost
in.
like a teleporter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like a teleporter. Yeah.
I want to go someplace where there's not a lot of eyes on us, but we're still near those things. And I'm gonna ask Cad, come over here real quick. I want to use my know-how to figure out if I can tell like
How to fake him?
how to get him inside one of these packets, and potentially either disguise or fib our way into distributing this as though it was just a ping that they would let through.
Sure. Okay. Go ahead and roll it.
I rolled a 27.
You heard him mention earlier, I think I actually said it incorrectly, but NTPD packets were still being able to go out. That is, you recognize that as time synchronization for the system. So generally, a computer system will communicate with a time server outside of the system somewhere, and it's used for time synchronization. So it's one of the basic packets that's still being allowed to go out. So you feel like if you could convince the guards that your friend here, Cad, is on a mission from the NTPD demon, that you could potentially get him out that way.
Could I disguise him? I have a disguise.
I also have a disguise. We've got some good.
Probably not as good as mine.
Probably not, but well, what do you got?
Actually, well, here's the thing. You roll more dice than me for disguise, but I have the bonus from the acting thing as Master of Disguise that no matter what I roll on disguise, there's a plus 10 bonus.
Oh, well, that's great. I mean, and I'm a makeup artist, so like one way or another, we're getting through this.
Yeah.
We can do this.
Master of Disguise.
Like, with her makeup and my acting, we're gonna get you through. Like,
yeah, we're gonna make sure that they think that the NTP demon is ready to.
gonna introduce a new concept to you called yes and.
Well, hey, Cad, don't worry about a thing. We're gonna do all the talking. You're just gonna be a box, and you're gonna get in the box, and we're gonna make sure you get through that gate.
What are we gonna do? We can't walk up there and just say, trust us, this is a nice guy, let him through.
Well, yeah, but, okay, so what's the situation with how the boxes are brought through the gate? Like, are there, like, courier programs, like, overseeing that or something, or...
Aren't there guards overseeing
Well, there are guards,
yeah.
but someone's moving the boxes.
They're gonna have to check papers, please. They're gonna have to check
either the boxes are moving themselves.
The boxes aren't moving at all. It's a teleportation chamber.
Yes.
Okay.
The boxes aren't moving. They are static. It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a teleportation chamber.
Only two things I know for sure. The boxes aren't moving and time moves faster here. But his golden ticket is not going to get him through because he's not considered a priority right now.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
So we got to fake it to make him look like a priority.
I imagined a very specific thing when we started this, and then all attempts to rewrite that failed because I was being very stubborn. All right?
I'm just saying, we shouldn't walk up and talk to the guard, is what I'm saying. He's got to do that on his own. But with our combination of skills, we can make him fake it till he makes it.
Okay. I got this. Great. Cool. So, let's see. What's the best approach here? Like, do you know who this is? Like,
no, I'm saying we don't say anything. We have to train him. We got to get him. You have to alter his appearance somehow, whether it's forging his ID number or forging something on him that shows that he is an essential program that needs to go out. Like MCP has decided that he has to go out for a secret mission or some shit, or something more innocent.
I'm going to roll my tech to see if there's anything that I can think of that's a logical computer explanation for how to get this guy in there.
Forge his papers. Wild eye.
31.
You're thinking about this, and what you kind of gradually come to realize is that your users, you get to design this however you want to do, and you can make this make it convincing. You could, it's up to you. You have the user magic to be able to make this convincing.
And I got a wrench.
Yeah, so it's really just going to be about like declaring your intent, and if you want to dress it up with window dressing, if you want to put NTPD operative like on a t-shirt that he's wearing that to strut through with, and that's how you envision it being, then that's okay. Really, it's just going to come down to the dice roll for how well you manipulate his appearance too.
I'd say let's just, in terms of the programs that are going through, I'd imagine we'd have to make him look just like them, and if they don't look any particularly special thing, then it's not an outwardly appearance thing. It's a number program thing. So we can just alter that. If
he's doing time synchronization, give him a big gold chain with a clock hanging off the end of it.
So what would be the role that's required to alter his stuff?
Well, it's got to be disguise, right?
Is it?
Yes. So the thing about the grid is that it's taking your interactions with this world and translating something that makes sense to you into something that makes sense in the computer world. So if you're rolling disguise, the effect that that's going to have is it's going to be translated into something that makes sense to the computer world.
It'll be interpreted. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm gonna roll a disguise with the wrench as I plug in and be like, listen, this is what we're gonna say. You're gonna be an innocent program. You're basically just checking the time, and you're gonna bounce back with the time. You're syncing up with the prime meridian or whatever. 29.
I guess describe to me what are you doing to make him look like he belongs to be as part of a time synchronization program?
So he is the most innocent but essential time-keeping thing where basically he needs to go on the internet, check and make sure that all of our clocks are synchronized, and then I guess if he bounces back or not, that doesn't matter. But we'll say he's got... if he's a timekeeping program, we can have several watches, like, along his arm or whatever. And he's in a nice.
You're the one with the role.
Yeah.
You dictate it,
Sure.
Master of Disguise.
Yeah.
Much more. Together about this than the SFX makeup artist. Go for it. Because I think most importantly, you as an actor, you're bequeathing to him how to disguise something a bit more complicated than just his aesthetics.
Right. So I'm describing to him the idea of the White Rabbit who's very late for a very important date, except he's not going to be that manic, and that his business is serious, and he outranks them, but it's also simple and non-threatening. This is an everyday thing that nobody would question. It would be like trying to stop the mailman. It's like, why are you trying to stop the mailman? He's got a job to do. So very forgettable but formal look to him.
So you make these changes, and you send him on his way. And he kind of turns around with a renewed confidence in his step, and he just marches forward, and he's just passing through the lines, and other programs are just making way for him.
Yeah, and that's just before he leaves earshot. I'm like, yes, and
yes, and all right. So he gets up to the guard, and the guard is like, halt, destination. He provides the golden ticket, and he's like, and what is your purpose, program? Time synchronization task from the NTPD. Now you need to move aside, program. And he's like, what is your purpose for this? And he says, did you not hear me? I'm on I'm under direct orders from a demon. Now you need to stand aside and let me go forward and do my work. And hands the golden ticket back to him, and kind of shuffles out of the way. And Cad continues to march on, and he kind of turns back and gives you a little wink as he's walking along.
He did it!
Put my hand on Brett's shoulder and I said, you did good. You made your first demon spawn.
I don't. What do demons have to do with it? I don't know, but
You never got a visit from the mailer demon, Brett?
The what?
I don't know. Don't worry about it. We'll get there.
We're in a computer. Now you tell me there's demons involved?
You watch Cad as he kind of walks forward. He puts his golden ticket into a slot on the side of the teleporter device thing, and he steps inside. The doors close. There's a brief hum of energy, and they open back up, and he's gone.
Nailed it. Nice work.
All of a sudden, there is a couple seconds later, there is a broad sweeping change. So I guess all the red lights that were on all of the packets are now changing to green lights, and the guards kind of look to turn around, and they are start to let more programs through. And the programs kind of are all yeah, awesome, we get to keep going now. And so programs are beginning to shuffle out. They're going into the packets and proceeding to go about their tasks, and new programs are coming in, and information is being delivered. So it's very clear that this information is being the TCP gate is functional again.
Could we if this is the internet?
Yeah.
Could we send an email for help? Or is that not even necessary?
How would we construct that? I don't know. When we were talking to Eric, were we in a chat server? What was he perceiving? It must have been lines in the code, that our thoughts were getting turned into, our thoughts, which are our words, were getting turned into, text or something, right? So, oh shit. Did you see that?
How is this coming in?
You notice that the disc on your back is starting to glow again. It's doing that thing again.
Okay.
And you take it off. You pull up what is kind of like a virtual terminal that's being a holographic projection that's coming up from your desk. And you see you're connected to the Lone Wolf Den. And able to chat through that again.
I'm like, how the hell did you do that? That's cool. Okay.
And I guess like I see that Brett's disc is glowing. I take off my own disc and like sort of like attempt to think at it or something to maybe communicate to Eric or
I'm sorry, your disc was glowing also.
Yeah, I figured
both
that.
of yours,
I assumed. Yeah,
you're all connected to it. So
yeah. Do I have an understanding of how I'm meant to communicate my thoughts to Eric in this case?
So you're not communicating your thoughts. It's you literally type back to him through
on what?
Using the holographic interface.
Yes, there's like on the
disc.
Yeah, there's like a little holographic keyboard that you can type into.
Does the disc hover, or do I set it down on my lap like a laptop or something?
Either way, you can. I mean, it doesn't hover, but you could either just hold it and type one-handed, or you could sit down with it on your lap and you could type in it like a full keyboard.
Okay, I'll hold it and sort of type casually that yeah, we met your buddy Cad, who looked exactly like you, and it was super weird, Eric. But hi, cool. Send us a JPEG.
So just to clarify, Eric sent a message in the Lone Wolf chat that just says, "Hey, it looks like you did it."
I'll read those aloud next time. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. And so you asked for him to just send you a JPEG.
Picture, it didn't happen.
I don't think that turn of phrase has been invented yet.
No.
This
is what year is it?
97.
No, it must have been around by then.
No. I think that's a 4chan thing.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe we invented the bloody thing.
You received this image.
Oh, hey. Look at that. I show my disc to Brett. He sent a picture of Wilmington. I was just being sarcastic.
Ask him if we're any closer to getting out of here. Has he figured anything out yet? Has he done anything useful besides send a program in? Sure.
So I message LOL, cool. Figure out who Alan 1 is and get us the fuck out of here. Thanks, but spelled THX.
You notice too that the messages are still, coming in pretty delayed at this point.
He says, "Okay, gonna try to contact the person who gave me the disc."
Yeah. What the connection is between Alan 1 of Incom and something called Illuminated Spaces. Interesting. All right, well then, I put the disc back on my back, and let's go find Obers.
Thanks for listening to City of Demons. Head to patreon.com/Omniverse Media to support this and other surprise RPG experiences. Also, join the Omniverse Discord server at omniverse.media/Discord.